pray real quick, and then we gonna make this thing happen. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you, God. We give you praise, honor, and glory. We bless your name. We ask that you come and just speak to us on this morning. Do what you do, say what you say. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, y'all. So y'all already know what the title of this is. So if you've been following the group, then you already know that this message is entitled The Answer. The Answer. And so everything that we do here, most of the things that I talk about, I always have a word that's associated with it, and it was funny. I was having a conversation with somebody. You guys know me. On the coaching side, I talk a lot about leadership, and that's the types of things that I train. And so I just, I had a conversation with somebody, and they were asking me, where does the content come from? And they were a little taken back because I told them, right out of the Bible. It comes out of the book. There's nothing new under the sun. Matter of fact, that's in the Bible too. There's nothing new under the sun. And so a lot of the things, when there's really something pressing on me to talk about, that is the first place that I go, because I want to see what the word says about it. I put this group together because this group is for everybody. So regardless of your faith, regardless of your denomination, religion, whatever you want to call it, this group is for everybody. And so our focus here is we always want to, again, inspire, empower, encourage transformation so that you go out there and make those goals happen. That's what it's all about. And we all about the reset here. And so let's get into this and let's talk about the answer. Let's talk about the answer. And in no small part, and you can look this individual up when you get a chance. There's a retired American basketball player by the name of Allen Iverson. And Allen Iverson was a point guard, and Allen Iverson was by far one of the best basketball players on the planet during his time. He was a little guy, and I remember when Allen Iverson was coming out of high school, he had gotten into some trouble, so it delayed him being able to go to college, but he ended up going to Georgetown University, and he set the world on fire. He set the world on fire, and so he ends up in the NBA, and he really revolutionized and he changed the way that his position was played. And so if you've ever been around a basketball culture, then a lot of players have nicknames. And so somewhere along the line, he got the nickname, The Answer. I like to think, and I don't know exactly why, but I would like to think that he got that name because he solved problems. When his team was in a bind, he wanted them to look at him as the answer. When there was some leadership needed amongst the team, he wanted to be looked at as the one that had the answer. He wanted to position himself so that he knew that the people around him could depend on him, that the people around him could lean on him. When they were weak, he was saying, you know what, hey, I got you, come on. And so he ended up revolutionizing his position, but he also revolutionized the game because he had a tenacity, he had a work ethic, and he had a toughness when it came to playing basketball that was needed definitely on the team that he went to, but kind of throughout the league because he was a smaller guy and it was a big man's game. And so they really had got lost. Well, this is not the game for small guys anymore. And he came in and proved that is not so. And so his nickname, The Answer, it stuck. And so when there was a big shot that needed to be made for his team, he wanted to be the one to take the shot. And so I started to kind of think about this concept of being an answer. And I kept hearing make me an answer. Make me an answer. And I know a lot of times we go through life and we're trying to figure out what our purpose is, what our destiny is are we on the right track? Are we doing the things that we are really designed to do, quote unquote? Are we in our lane, right? Are we in our lane? And I just began to wonder what would happen if we started to, as a people, as a society, what if we stopped being so um, problem focused and we started being solution focused and we just started saying, okay, God, make me an answer, because answers go with problems. That is the nature of the way that they work. Answers go with problems. They fit with problems. Let me give you an example. There was no such thing, and I used him as an example once before. There was no such thing as the iPod, but there was a issue, there was a problem in that Apple had lost its competitive edge, and so they answered a problem. So the iPod became an answer to a problem, but more importantly, Steve Jobs allowed himself to be an answer. I think about people like Barack Obama, who against what a lot of people said, you shouldn't run and you shouldn't do all of this, but he knew it was a time where people were really looking, for change, and they were looking for something different. And so he decided to answer the call and become an answer. If you even look in the Bible, Jesus was an answer. Joseph was an answer. I know you probably saying, well, Joseph's brothers sold him out and sold him into slavery. Yeah, but the reason Joseph prospered is because Joseph was an answer everywhere that he went. It didn't matter whether you put him in jail or whether you put him in Potiphar's house. It didn't matter. Joseph was an answer to a problem. You need somebody to manage something. You need somebody to administrate something. Joseph was the man to call. And so when I started to think about this, I'm like, man, what would happen if we stopped being so problem focused and we begin to become focused on making ourselves and asking God to make us into an answer? We know that we are created in His image and after His likeness. And this song that we were listening to this morning, it says that Jesus will. And so we know that God is an answer. God is the answer. And so if we're made in His will and after His likeness, then by default, y'all, that makes us an answer. But I wonder what would happen if we really start to step into that place and start to say, I'm not just in a business that does X, Y, Z. I'm an answer. Man, I felt that right there. I'm not just in a business that does X, Y, Z. I'm an answer. I'm an answer to every one of my customers. I'm an answer to everybody that goes to my website. I am an answer. And so every encounter that you have with people, if you begin to kind of see what you do like that, then it'll start to change your mindset. We got teachers that are getting ready, teachers that are part of this group that are getting ready to go back to school. Y'all, I need to encourage you as you go into this year. I need you to not see yourself as a teacher. I need you to see yourself as an answer. You are an answer to an issue that our society has. We need to educate our kids, and guess what? You're on the front line and you're the answer. You're the answer. It's not the book writers. It's not the publishers. They can create all the cool content that they want. They can create all of the tools that they want, the rubrics and all of this stuff. But let me tell you what the answer is. The answer is you. You are the answer. And so as soon as I just want y'all to really get that down in your heart this morning, that you are an answer. You are bigger than what it is that you do for other people. No, you're an answer. And answers address problems. So we're not going to focus on being on just what the problem is and mulling over what the problem is. what we're going to focus in on is we're going to focus in on being an answer and becoming an answer. And so for Bible reference, I want y'all, when y'all get a chance, go back and read Judges chapter 6, 12 through 16, but read 6 and 7. This is the story of Gideon. This is the story of Gideon. And so a lot of what I'm going to say to you today comes right out of just some stuff that God really dropped in my spirit about Gideon. Okay, so when you get a chance, go back and read the story of Gideon, because Gideon finally got to a place where he allowed himself to be an answer. It didn't matter that God addressed him, mighty man of valor and all this kind of stuff. Gideon wasn't trying to hear it. He wasn't trying to do it. He was like, man, I'm from this tribe. We the least of them. I'm the least of the least, and all of this kind of stuff. And God was like, no, man, you are the answer. You are going to lead your people to victory. I need y'all business owners. Listen to what I'm telling you. You are an answer. You are an answer. You are more than the product that you sell. You are more than the service that you provide. You are an answer. You are the reason that somebody's day gets to turn around. You are the reason that somebody gets to connect with somebody that just, hey, they really do care about me. That customer service that you provide is an answer. Because here's the piece of information that you don't have. Before the interaction with you, you don't know what went on. That's the piece of information you don't have. Before their interaction with you, you don't know what happened. For all my leaders out there in the corporate and the nonprofit sectors, ministry sectors, listen to what I'm telling you. You are an answer. You are an answer for your company. You are an answer for your organization. You are an answer. That's why you got the interview, because you're an answer. That's why you got the job, because you're an answer. That's why they continue to spend money on you and pay you a salary. You won't know why? Because you are an answer. And when you begin to see yourself as an answer, then you will begin to get a confidence, a holy confidence to come on you that really will make I can do all things come alive in your heart and in your mind when you begin to see yourself as an answer. So I want to start off, and the first thing I want to do is I want to define this word answer. I want to define the word answer, because let's be honest, in this season, a lot of us have been praying for an answer. We've been praying for an answer. We've been looking for an answer. We've been hoping for an answer. Some of us have cried for an answer. Some of us have begged for answers. But has it ever dawned on you that you might be the answer? That you are the answer? Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. You are the answer. You are an answer. And so when we look at this word answer, there's a bunch of definitions for it, but I picked two. I picked the common one, to speak or write in reply. Okay? That's the common one. So we know, I say something to Michelle, Michelle says something back, that's an answer. Okay? But here's the one that I want to get to. To be, I swear, to be or make oneself responsible or accountable. Okay. To be or to make oneself responsible or accountable. And I think we've talked about this before, about being. Okay. We've talked about being before. And so I find it interesting that in the concept of being an answer, it starts off with, the first thing is you have to be willing to be. You got to be willing to be an answer. You got to be willing to be an answer. Okay? Your kids, y'all parents out there, your kids come to you with all these 9 million questions that they have because they believe that you are the answer. When they have issues and when they have problems, they come and talk to you because they believe you to be the answer. Not that just you have the answer and that you're going to tell them what to do. No, the answer to this problem is my mom. The answer to this problem is my dad. And so they come to you because they believe you to be an answer. So the first thing is we got to realize and we got to get in our mind and we got to be willing to be an answer. See, that's what Gideon's problem really was. Gideon at first did not want to be an answer. You know, the only thing Gideon could see was all of what he was and could not do. That's all he could see. And so when the angel showed up and addressed him as a mighty man of valor, now that's significant because of this. Because Gideon was not a warrior. Gideon was not a fighting person. Gideon worked at a winery. If you go back and read this, Gideon worked at a winery, right? He worked at a winery pressing grapes and doing all of that kind of stuff. Fighting, this is not what this man did, and yet you showing up and you're telling me something that I can't even see in myself. Because God knew, no, I don't need to send anybody else because the answer is already there. He don't need to send nobody else into your space because you are already there. You're already the answer. And so I just wonder what would happen if we start to be. If we would just start to be. And here's the thing about being. We can't have it until we decide to be it. We can't have it until we decide to be it. So the first part of that definition is there has to be a conscious decision to be. But then it says to make oneself responsible or accountable, okay? To make yourself responsible. Now that denotes ownership. So not only am I going to decide that I am going to be, that's just step one. But step two is now it's time to grab the bull by the horns. Now I got to take ownership of this. And when I begin to take ownership of it, I begin to put my hands on it. Only then can things change. Only then can the problem begin to be resolved. Because now the answer has inserted itself into the mix. Okay? So when you think about being an answer, number one, you got to be willing to be it. And then number two, you got to be willing to take responsibility, take ownership of it. So whatever the problem is, it doesn't matter because you're the answer and you're going to solve it. You're the one with the talent. You're the one with the mentality. You're the one with the skill set. You're the one that's designed. Every problem has an answer that is fit to it. We can say all day long that 2 + 2 is 5, but it does not make it true. There is only one number that answers 2 + 2, and that is 4. Not 12, not 900, not 2063. 4 is the only number that answers 2 + 2. And so there are things out there. There are people that are waiting for your gifts. They waiting for your talent because they got a problem that you're the answer for, because they need to be encouraged, right? They need to be challenged. They need to be pushed. They need to be mentored. And so we have an opportunity now. We got an opportunity to become something that's far bigger than us, to do something that's far bigger than just us. So here's a question that I want to answer. So what is being an answer all about? All right, let's dig in. So being an answer is about two things. It's about answering the question, and it's about answering the call. It's about answering the question, and it's about answering the call. Let me say that again. It's about answering the question, and it's about answering the call. So the question is simply the issue. It's the problem. It's the space. It's the environment, okay, that you are fit for, okay? There are some business owners in this group from all different types of things. There's writers, authors in this group that never did it before, but they turn around and they wrote something that absolutely changed somebody else's life. All because they first and foremost answered the question. And the question was, can I do this? Can I really do this? Is this something that God is really telling me to do? So the first thing is the question. The second thing is the calling. When you begin to see what you do in business or and in life not as interchangeable but the same thing, then you'll begin to understand what your calling is. This is why you can have people that are working a job for 20, 25, 30 years and they miserable every day. And nobody can understand. It's like, well, dog, well, you were there so long. I thought you loved it. No, I really didn't love it, but you won't know why, because that really wasn't what they were called to do. I tell people all the time, teachers are called. Believe that. Teachers are called. Everybody don't belong in the classroom. Everybody doesn't belong in the class. That is an anointing that comes on you. There's a supernatural power that comes on you to be able to not just be a conveyor of information, but you can connect with people and be able to get these young people to a place where they need to be. And we talking about in a small period of time, in a short period of time. And all these requirements, and they can get you from point A to point B. That's not everybody. But then here's the part that I love. 10, 15, 20, 30 years later, people still remember their first grade teacher. How many of y'all in this group right now that's on here live, how many of y'all remember your first grade teacher, second grade teacher, third grade teacher, fourth grade teacher, fifth grade teacher? You remember the good ones and you remember the not so good ones, but you remember them. You won't know why, because they made an impact on you. And the ones that really made an impact for the better, those were the ones that were an answer in a season that you were in your life. One of the teachers that really shaped who I am, this lady, Miss Bergeron, this lady was my typing teacher. She was originally my typing and computer teacher in high school. I went to a vocational high school, and this lady was about 5'2" on a good day. About 5'2". She about 120 pounds soaking wet. And she was a drill sergeant in the Marine Corps. He was a retired drill sergeant. Man, she didn't take any shorts. And she pushed me and she challenged me. And when I hit a place in my life where, and here's something else, a lot of people don't know, I actually dropped out of school. I actually dropped out of school at one point. I was primarily raised by my grandmother, right? Watch this. I was primarily raised by my grandmother. My grandmother died when I was 17, y'all. I was literally living in that house by myself and nobody knew it. I stopped going to school. I just stopped coming. I just stopped showing up. I just stopped showing up. This lady right here was like, the devil is alive. And when I came back the next school year, I went to register myself. And before I could put my name on any paperwork, she came and grabbed me by the arm. She pulled me to the side. I can't tell y'all, because Facebook liable to ban me if I say the words that this lady said to me. But let me tell you something. Long story short, she snapped me all the way back and got me all the way together. I'll never forget that as long as I live, because she was an answer to the season that I was in. She was an answer. She had made up in her mind that for this little boy right here, this little black boy from the hood, I am going to be the answer. He will not be a statistic. And oh yeah, by the way, she was a white Caucasian lady. She said, the devil is a lie. No, sir. This will not go down like this. If it was not for her, I probably would not have graduated high school. I put that on everything. If it was not for that lady, see, because she decided to be, and then she decided to take responsibility. And so what she did was is like every day during the homeroom lunch period, she wrote me a pass every day. And I would come to her room and I would just help. I would help her, get computers together, do paperwork, do all this stuff, probably a bunch of stuff I probably shouldn't have been doing, but that is what she did to keep me out of things that I ain't had no business being in, because she knew that I was in a time where I could have went either way. See, that's what happens when you decide to be an answer. Okay? So when you decide to become an answer, so at some point, Gideon, Miss Bergeron, Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, all of these people, Jeff Bezos with Amazon, Sam Walton with Walmart, they all decided to become an answer to a problem. So they decided to become an answer. So what happens exactly when you decide to become an answer? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to help you out. I'm about to give you 4 things. Let's get it. Number 1, when you decide to become an answer, the first thing that's going to come is revelation. The first thing that is going to come is revelation. And the revelation is not going to be a revelation of what to do. It's going to be a revelation of who you are. If you go back, when you get a chance, go back and read this story about Gideon and listen to the exchange between him and the angel. And you'll see it. Because the angel addresses him one way, and Gideon immediately said, "No, fam, you got the wrong one. That's not even me. that's not even me." And he starts to give all these criteria and reasons why it was not him, why he was not that. But at some point in the story, after all of this, well, give me a sign and all this stuff, because y'all know now we get super holy and we get super spiritual and we start doing that kind of stuff. We do the exact same thing that Gideon did. I need a sign for this. I need a sign for that. Give me confirmation. Let me call my mom and them. Let me see what my sisters say. Let me ask this person and that person and all of this kind of stuff. And really, the only thing that needs to happen is that we receive the revelation of who we are. So at some point in this story, and I ain't gonna tell you, I'm gonna see if you can identify it. Gideon decides, okay, I really am this. This really is who I am. This really is who I am. And so once he realized this is who I am, that was the first step. Now the second step is, so he received revelation of who he was. When you decide to become an answer, the next thing is going to happen is you're going to receive instruction. You're going to receive instruction. So you're gonna first understand who you are, and then the next thing that's going to happen, you're going to receive instruction. And so once you begin to receive instruction, this is instruction as to what to do. Sometimes, y'all, we flip these. The first thing we want to go to God, we want to go to God with the problem, and we just want to start solving. It's kind of like having a boss. If you ever had a boss like this, as soon as the problem happened, we don't even have all the facts. We don't even have the detail. They already calling a meeting, because we just got to solve for this. We don't even know what the problem is yet. How are we going to solve for something we don't even really understand fully what the problem is yet? So the first thing that's got to come when you decide and you pray, God, make me an answer, the first thing that's going to come is revelation as to who you are. Because he will not let you go forward and let you be out there and have an inkling that you are not the person for the job, okay? That you are not the person for the space, that you should not be in the business that you're in. The devil is a lie. That is not the way it works, okay? So revelation, then instruction. Instruction into what to do. The third thing, the support system. So who is designed to support you in the endeavor? See, we leave this part out because, we seem to think for some reason that we can do every single thing by ourselves. Y'all, that is not so. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, It cannot be. I understand that we got people running around here talking about they quote unquote self-made. You're a lie. You're a lie from the pit of hell. No, you ain't. Now, you may have worked hard and you may have done a lot of things on your own, and you may have had to figure out a lot of stuff on your own, but you, sir, ma'am, are not self-made. There has not been somebody that has gotten to where they are without the assistance or help of somebody else, some entity, some institution, some group, whatever the case might be. I'm telling you, there's a support system that goes with the vision that you have. You just got to identify what that support system is. Who are who are the coaches in your life? Who are the counselors in your life? Who are the critics in your life? Who are the people that can really critique what you're doing and give you that constructive feedback? Who are all of those people, in your life that can really pour into you like that and help draw out and pull out what's on the inside of you? And then here's the last thing. There's an edge that's going to come. When you decide to become an answer, there's an edge that is going to come. I like to call this is your competitive advantage. This is the competitive advantage. Anita Wilson was singing this morning in our little mini concert at Jesus Will. That's a competitive advantage. Okay? And so once the instruction comes, then the support comes. Now what happens is you take all three of those first three, you take those first three and put them together. Revelation, instruction, and support. And what you get is a competitive edge. So you're trying to figure out, how do I distinguish myself in the space that I'm in? Business owners, I'm talking to y'all. How do I distinguish myself? How do I set myself apart from everybody else that does what I do? That write the type of books that I write. They make and sell the types of products that I make and sell. They provide the types of services that I do. How do you distinguish yourself? Okay, here you go. Revelation, instruction, and support. Risk. Revelation, instruction, and support. Always positioning yourself for new revelation, new understanding. Because as you begin to newly, day by day, newly understand more and more about yourself and who you are, then your capacity will increase. Your capacity will increase. Okay? Your capacity will increase. And so when you start to get the instruction, it's going to make more sense. And now you're going to be able to move quicker. Now you're going to be able to act on things, and you'll begin to act on things, and you don't even have to second guess it, because you fully understand who you are, what you're wired, how you're wired, what you're made of, what your talents are, what your gifts are. You will fully understand. Rise. That's right. Michelle saying, I'm sure I'll hear about that one later. And so when you start to do that, now you can begin to really hone in on the instructions. Now you're gonna strategize better. And when you can begin to strategize better, that's when you're gonna start to separate yourself. Then as you separate yourself from the pack, the support becomes even more important. Because remember, you can't do it by yourself. So you need those people. Okay? Because as your capacity increases, you're gonna need that support. And that's your edge. That's your competitive advantage. And so when that competitive advantage comes, you gotta take it. You gotta take it. You gotta be ready to move. You gotta be ready to act. Because there's something else that you bring to the table that nobody else can bring to the table. And you want to know what it is? It's you. I don't care if they do make the same thing that you make, they're not you. I don't care if they sell the same thing that you sell, they're not you. I don't care if they teach the same kind of class that you teach, write the same kind of books that you write. At the end of the day, they're not you. They don't have your spirit, they don't have your heart. That's your competitive advantage. because you got something on the inside of you that's working in your favor. You got something on the inside of you that's working in your favor. Listen to what I'm telling you. You are an answer. You are an answer. If you didn't get anything else from this morning, I want you to hear what I'm telling you. You're an answer. You're an answer for this world. You're an answer for your space, for the environments, for the atmospheres that God put you in. You are an answer. You got kids, you're an answer. Okay? I need y'all to really grab hold of that. You are an answer. And so the world is waiting. I posted something in the group last week. It was a little boy with little floaties on, but I really wanted y'all to see the seriousness on his face. That wasn't a look of fear. That was not a look of fear. That was a look of, I got this. He had his little floaty around his waist. He had his floaties on his arm, and he was bowed up. He was ready to make some stuff happen, right? he was bowed up. He was ready to make some stuff happen. And so I just believe in this, in this season. And I was sharing with somebody, I think yesterday or maybe the day before. It's time to get out of the boat. It's time to get out of the boat or get pushed out of the boat. Now, I can tell you for one thing, I can tell you for sure. I don't know who the people are that push you, but I can tell you, you keep hanging around in this group long enough, I'm going to throw you out of the boat because you're an answer. Because you're an answer. And right now, we need answers. We need problem solvers. We need people that are going out and they ain't focusing on the problem because they know, that problem right there, that's mine. Yeah, that's mine. That's mine right there. I know I can do something about that right there. And they ready to receive. They ready to receive that revelation. I hope you guys really got something out of this morning. And I want you to say today, I'm an answer. I'm an answer. There's stuff, man, that I've got some God-given talent, some skills, some ability, some life experiences that I can share with at least one other person on this earth that'll be a blessing to them. So you got jump right, exactly. Right. Don't be pushed. Don't be pushed. So if you've ever done coaching with me, then those in the group they understand what I'm talking about. I'm all about throwing people out of the boat. I feel like that's my job. That is my calling in life. See, I'm an answer. I'm an answer. I'm an answer. You don't want to get out of the boat? All right, got you. Get on out there. Get on out there. So thank you guys so much for coming on this morning. Y'all are awesome as always. So we always end. So if you're new to the Breakfast Club, we have something we always end with, and it goes a little something like this. You can't get strong unless you lift heavy stuff. You guys have an awesome week. Be blessed and encouraged, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great one.